there, welcome to Live by Design, a program where I hope you'll find content that is informative, inspiring, and insightful. I'm your host, Muadi. I'm a life strategist and a transformational speaker, and today is Tuesday, February 11th, 2014. I hope you're doing well. I most certainly am. I'm still in DC. Thought I was going to escape the cold, but didn't quite work out. That's okay. I'm still happy to be here, and I'm happy to be with you. Now, we're going to get right into the show today. I have just one very quick announcement. The grand opening for Bikram Yoga Riverdale Park is going to take place on or about February 22nd, so in about 2 weeks. But I happen to know for a fact that there will be a soft opening before then. She's not going to make a big announcement about it. But if you follow me on Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn, as soon as it is a go, I will text you. And hopefully, if you live in the DMV area, you can join us at the soft opening whenever that happens. I've seen some pictures. I haven't gone into the space yet. I want to be surprised. But the pictures are beautiful. It's going to be a fabulous, fabulous location. So hopefully, again, if you live in the DMV, I will see you then. Now, last week I shared with you what the theme for the show is going to be this year. This year, Live by Design is really going to be about giving you some tools, some tangible things that you can do to move some of your specific goals forward. Last episode, I gave you an assignment. I said for you to just go out, find a notebook, and to write down at least 3 goals that you wanted to accomplish this week. Hopefully you did that. See, I call this my big book of ideas. And I take this with me everywhere. I take it on the train. I take it with me when I'm riding the bus. Just so that I have something handy to capture my ideas, to keep my goals at the forefront of my mind. And if an idea comes to me, or a resource or an opportunity makes itself available to me or known to me when I'm out and about, I write it down in my big book of goals so that I can apply it to whatever it is that I'm trying to accomplish. It's really important to write things down. You are too busy, you have too many things going on to think that you're going to just remember everything and be able to get stuff off the top of your head when you need it. So you've got to write things down. So I'm going to give you a second to pause, to go get your notebook, and then come back, and then we're going to get into our topic, okay? So I'll be right back. I'll wait. Okay, we're back. Did you do it? Hopefully you did, because today we're talking about one of the big blocks to success. Yeah, that's right. We are talking about procrastination. It's crazy. Makes us all feel just a little lazy. I'm not a singer. I just thought I would do that for fun. But we are talking about procrastination. And this is serious business because, this is one of the biggest reasons, dare I say excuses, that I get from clients, from my friends, from myself sometimes, as to why it is that we don't do the things that we say that we want to do. So today we're going to break down this whole idea of procrastination, what it is, what it comes from, and I'm going to give you some tips and some tools to help you move through procrastination as you work towards your goals. So keeping your goals in mind, there are at least 6 things, 6 factors, 6 reasons that cause us to procrastinate. And I'm very quickly going to go through them. At the end of this little segment, I'm going to put up a slide that has them written down. Actually, I'm going to do that now. Let's take a moment. I'm going to put them up, and I want you to just take a moment to read them one at a time. And then we're going to come back, and then I'm going to go through them with you one at a time. I think that makes more sense, yeah? So hold on. Here they come now. Okay, now that you've had a chance to review it, let's just go over the list one point at a time. I can't go into too much depth because we don't have a whole lot of time together, but I do want to go through them just to give you some food for thought. So why do we procrastinate? First thing, we don't know how to do the task. Nobody wants to feel like Boo the Fool. And so sometimes when you set a goal for yourself, and particularly if it's something that you've never ever done before and you don't know how to do it, you can get stuck 9 times out of 10 stuck in the fear because you just don't know how to do it. Second piece, we're afraid that we'll fail. We are living in a time, particularly in this society, where we're so concerned about what other people think about us that it keeps us from going out and really being adventurous. We are worried that if we miss the mark, or if what we are going for doesn't really come to pass, that other people are going to judge us, they're going to laugh at us, they're going to ridicule us, whatever. When you live your life at the mercy of other people's thoughts, that brings you suffering and it keeps you stuck. Now again, as I go through this list, I want you to think about the goals that you've set yourself for this year. Don't just sit here and listen to me talk, because you won't get any benefit out of this. I really want you to contemplate those 3 things that you said that you wanted to do. Okay, so again, first, we don't know how to do it. Second, we're afraid that we're going to fail. Third, it's just not interesting. One of the things I love about my job, about my work, is that I get to meet so many different people in the workshops and my speaking engagements. One of the things that I really detest about this work is data entry. And unfortunately, I don't always have the benefit of an assistant. So sometimes I have to type in the addresses and the emails into my database of all those lovely people that I meet. Boring. Data entry, I've always disliked data entry, even when I was a young person, when I was working. So I put it off, I procrastinate. I wait to the last possible minute until the papers sort of pile up until I can't escape it anymore. Because why? It's not interesting. That's why I procrastinate. Number 4, we don't really want to do the task. Whatever that thing is that you're saying you want to do, does that goal belong to you? I know someone who doesn't really want to be an entrepreneur, but he's running around, beating his head up against the wall trying to start a business because everybody thinks he would make a good business person. I know people who've gone to law school who've put off, taking the LSATs, they put off applying, they just, put it off and put it off and put it off. Come to find out, they didn't want to go anyway. They didn't want to go. They were going because of their parents or because of their friends or because of peer pressure. We procrastinate from doing a task. We keep certain tasks at bay. We keep it away from us. We run from it even when we don't want to do it. Look at the goals that you set for yourself. Who do they belong to? If there's something on that list that you really, really, really don't want to do, don't do it. 5th thing, we're afraid of what will be expected of us if we succeed at getting the goal. That sounds crazy, right? That whole fear of success thing. I used to think that was just another excuse. But several years back, I choreographed my first piece. It was called Ignition, my first really big ensemble piece. Everybody loved it, rave reviews. The students loved it, the audience loved it. And then someone said these words to me that really sort of hit me in my gut. I can't wait to see what you do next year. Pressure, right? Whenever you push yourself to that next level of something, or you come out of your box and you come up higher, there's an expectation from others, but also from yourself sometimes, that you've got to exceed that you got to keep on climbing. That is real pressure. You're afraid that you're going to succeed because then the game gets, the stakes in the game get higher. Right? The ante gets raised. And so sometimes we get stuck, not because we don't know how to do this particular task or we don't want to do it, but we're afraid that when we're successful at it, that more will be expected of us. And we don't know if we can handle that. That's real. I've experienced that. Maybe you have too. And then the last thing is that we procrastinate because we're rebelling against an authority figure or something that's being imposed upon us. I love my mother more than I love anybody else walking on this earth, most likely. I can't think of anyone who I love more than that woman. Would do anything for her. But there's one thing that woman does that drives me crazy. And it's when she tells me that I have to do something. You have to call so-and-so. We have to go to this place. And I remember one time we had a pretty intense conversation about that word, you have to. When I feel that something is being imposed upon me or that I'm being pressured to do something, even if it's something that I want to do, or something that I know I'm going to do eventually, the little kid in me says, stomps my foot and says, you can't make me do anything. What do we used to say back in the day? I don't have to do anything but stay black and die. That's what we used to say when I was younger. Sounds crazy, right? But that's my feeling. So we procrastinate when we feel that somebody is pushing us or pressuring us to do something, even if we want to do it, right? Just the thought that someone's saying that you have to, it sort of makes us put our heels in the sand and say, no, I don't. Make me, right? So those are the reasons. Again, we don't know how to do the task. We're afraid that we will fail. The task is not interesting. We really don't want to do it. We're afraid of what will be expected of us once we are successful, or we're rebelling against ourselves. Those are the top 6 reasons, I think, that really cause us to procrastinate. There's a body of work out there, a body of research that could probably list, 100 more reasons. For now, we're going to deal with the 6. What I want to do now is I want to pause. Yes, we're pausing again. We're here to do work this year, right? You're not going to just sit here and listen to me talk for 10, 15 minutes. It's about getting the work done. So we're going to pause. I want you to pause, and I want you to look at your goals. Just take a moment. Do it now. Maybe even do it after the show. But I want you to look and ask yourself, do any of these reasons for procrastination, any of these factors for procrastination, do they apply to you? Do they apply to anything that you're trying to do? Do they apply to anything that you have tried to do in the past and have not been successful achieving? Do they apply to you? Take a moment. Really think about this, you all. It's very serious. You have to really shed light on what is holding you back from accomplishing your goals, and make some decisions about what goals you're going to keep and what goals you might want to let go of, in order for you to be able to move through, right? So take a moment. I'm going to pause. We're going to take a little break, and we're going to be right back, and we're going to then talk about how to move through procrastination. All right? 2 minutes. I'll be back. Hey, we're back. Now, let's move through. I want to talk a little bit about some things that you can do to move through procrastination. And I want you to really think about the goals that you set for yourself. I want you to think about the work that you just did, where you identified what if any of those 6 factors behind procrastination actually apply to you. And while you're thinking about those things, I want to share some thoughts with you as to how you can move through procrastination. The first thing is to watch your mouth. Don't label yourself as a procrastinator. It sounds simple, but the words I am are very powerful. The spoken word, your thoughts are very powerful. And anything you say after I am becomes an affirmation. And you have the power to create a reality that matches that affirmation. So if you say I am a procrastinator, you're going to create situations where that is going to be solidified, right? If you say that I am lazy, if you say that I am stupid, I am unlucky, you have the power. It's been scientifically proven that you have the power to really influence your circumstances just based on how you see yourself and what you say about yourself. And think about this. In order for you to be a procrastinator, if I were to label myself as a procrastinator, for example, that means that I would have to procrastinate in everything that I do in order for that to be true. And that's just not true. Yes, I procrastinate on the data entry. It's a struggle. Every time I have to do it. I don't procrastinate when it's time to pick up my girls from school. I don't procrastinate when it's time to do this show. I don't procrastinate when it's time to work out. I surely don't procrastinate when it's time to eat. So therefore, I am not a procrastinator. I am someone who procrastinates. And by allowing myself to have some distance, by creating distance between the habit that I'm trying to break and the person that I am, it allows me to see that it's not in me. It's not part of my makeup. It's a habit that I have picked up, and that I can, if I do the work, let go of, right? So watch your mouth. Watch what you say about yourself. Don't call yourself a procrastinator. Don't say that you're lazy. Don't, all these negative things that we used to talk about ourselves. Don't label yourself as a procrastinator. Find an affirmation that lets you know I am productive. Whatever you need to do, whatever affirmation you can create, but for heaven's sakes, don't call yourself a procrastinator. Otherwise, you will subconsciously create an environment that matches that affirmation. The second thing is check the price tag. Check the price tag that is associated with the task. What is the cost of not doing that task? What is the cost to you of not doing that task? If I don't work out and eat right on a consistent basis, it's going to cost me my health. It's going to cost me my mobility, my peace of mind. It's going to cost me some money because I'm going to have to buy some new clothes because I will eventually I will gain weight and I will no longer be fit. That's too high a price to pay. That's too high a price to pay. And that's why I don't procrastinate when it comes to working out. The price is too high. Think about your goals. Look at them right now and ask yourself, if I don't accomplish these things, how will I feel about myself a year from now? What will my life look like a year from now? What will I not have a year from now? What might I lose a year from now? And then ask yourself, are you willing to pay the price? It's a sobering exercise. When we sit and look at our goals objectively and what we say that we want to do objectively and then forecast into the future, how will my life change for the better or for the worse if I don't accomplish this goal? Ask yourself if you're willing to pay the price. I can almost guarantee you that any goal that you have, if you really think about the impact that not achieving that goal will have on your life and sit in that awareness and really absorb that, that'll make you move. The thought of not exercising and what that will do to me, my body, my life in the future makes me want to get down and do some push-ups right now. So think about what is the price that I will pay in my life if I don't achieve this goal. And then on the flip side, what's the benefit? What will you gain? What will you gain? Ask yourself, what is the price? How much will it cost me? What will I lose? Right? And then what will I gain if I do it? When you shape your decision or your internal discussion about your goals, around the questions of what's the cost and what's the benefit, what's the price tag, what will I gain, it will move you in ways that you probably would not have imagined. Next thing, break whatever that task is. You don't have to do the whole thing at once. Break it down into smaller tasks. If you're trying to renovate your house, just find a contractor. 1 week. Do a color scheme get your color scheme the next week. If you're trying to go back to school, Monday call for the applications or send an email for the applications. Tuesday schedule a visit to one school. Wednesday, you get the idea. We sometimes get overwhelmed by the magnitude of the task that we've laid out for ourselves, that we feel like it's just completely impossible, and that keeps us stuck. Break your goals down. Look at your goals right now. You have a 12-month goal as to what you want to accomplish between now and December. Break it up. What do I want to do by the end of the first quarter? What do I want to what do I want to do by the end of the second quarter? Then it might even break it down. What do I want to do just this week? Break it up into smaller tasks. It won't seem so overwhelming and you'll get much more done. The interval method. Use intervals. In weight training, there's this thing called interval training or speed training where you do something really intensely for like a minute or two, then you have a rest time. Then you build back up, then you rest. Then you build, then you rest. Then you build, then you rest. Do the same thing with your work. Whatever that project is, devote 10 minutes, 5 minutes if you can find them, to bring laser-like focus to that one thing, then chill. Come back a day or two later, doesn't matter, but when you come back, give yourself 10 minutes, then chill. What I have found when I've used this method of just breaking out small little windows of time, is that I say I'm going to give it 10 minutes, but the 10 minutes always turns into 20 minutes. It always turns into 25, because once I get in that groove, I find myself, I get some momentum. So don't think about having to sit down for hours at a time. Think about, can I devote 10 minutes to my dream, 5 minutes to my dream, 5 seconds to my dream, a half hour to my dream. Just for those few moments, can I give laser-like attention to my dream? And then I'll go off and do something else. As I said earlier, if you do that, what you'll find is that 10 minutes turns to 20, turns to 30, turns to 40, and so on and so on. So work at intervals, interval speeds. Last thing is reward yourself along the way. And I don't mean every 6 or 7 months. Yesterday I had to work on a proposal. I didn't have to. I chose to work on a proposal, and it took me about 8 hours to get the whole thing put together. When that proposal was done, I watched 2 back-to-back episodes of Murder, She Wrote on Netflix and enjoyed myself. But during the 8 hours, I took breaks. I had a Chobani pineapple yogurt, one of my most favorite treats. Listened to some music, got up, did an exercise DVD. I didn't sit there for the whole 8 hours because that would have driven me crazy. So I rewarded myself along the way. It energized me, didn't make me feel like I was doing like really pressurized work, and it helped me move through. Okay, so watch your mouth, check the price tag. Break your larger tasks into smaller ones. Use interval training where you do just, a little bit of time spent on your dream, on your goal at a time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, etc. And reward yourself along the way. Okay? Those are my suggestions. That's what I'm offering to you to help you move through your procrastination. And if we look at that first list again, those 6 things, there's some other things that I want to add before we wrap up because we're running out of time. If you don't know how to do the task, ask somebody. Ask for help. Everybody needs help every once in a while. Go and ask for help. If you're afraid that you're going to fail or you're afraid that you're going to succeed, you grab that fear by the hand and do it anyway. Do it anyway. You may never get rid of fear. We talked about that last week. Grab the fear by the hand and do it anyway. If you really, really don't want to do it, ask yourself, is it a must for you? Because if it's not a must for you, let it go. Let it go. You don't have to do stuff that you don't want to do. Okay? And if you're rebelling against something or someone, grow up. Grow up. Oftentimes children will scream and yell at us because they don't want to eat their vegetables. But we know that the vegetables are good for them because it makes them strong and, blah, 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 blah. So the next time you feel that you are being pressured to do something, before you dig your heels into the ground and have a temper tantrum and rebel by procrastinating, ask yourself, what's the price tag on this? Is there a benefit for me in doing this? Do I get something out of this? I will put my ego aside for the moment and do it anyway. So that's the message for today. Do not allow procrastination to block your blessings. If you have any suggestions, any questions, any feedback, concerns, anything you'd like to share with me about this show, you can hit me up on Facebook or on Twitter. You can also leave me a message in the message comment section below, and I will get back to you as soon as is humanly possible. Until next week, have a fabulous day. Take care of yourselves and the ones that you love. And I'll see you soon. Bye.